Bayley interferes after Becky Lynch viciously assaults Lyra Valkyria at WWE SummerSlam. Welcome back to the channel, WWE Universe. Tonight, we are talking about one of the most shocking and chaotic moments in recent WWE history. SummerSlam 2025 was already stacked with blockbuster matches, but nobody expected what happened between Becky Lynch, Lyra Valkyria, and the surprising involvement of Bayley. In a night full of drama, Becky Lynch launched one of the most vicious assaults of her career on Lyra Valkyria, leaving fans stunned and officials scrambling. But just when it looked like Becky would completely dismantle Lyra, Bayley, yes, Bayley, made a shocking move that changed everything. This was more than an attack. This was personal. And tonight, we're breaking it all down. Becky's brutal assault, Bayley's unexpected interference, the fallout in the locker room, and what this means for the future of WWE's women's division. Before we talk about the shocking assault, let's set the stage. SummerSlam 2025 was billed as one of the biggest shows of the year. Among the most anticipated matches was Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. For weeks, Becky had been taunting Lyra, mocking her as a rookie who didn't belong in the same ring with the man. Lyra, determined to prove herself, stood up to Becky every step of the way. Fans loved it. This was the underdog story everyone wanted to see. The tension boiled over in the weeks leading up to SummerSlam. Becky ambushed Lyra backstage, slapped her during a contract signing, and promised that at SummerSlam she would teach Lyra a lesson she'd never forget. But nobody expected how far Becky would go to make that lesson stick. The match itself was intense from the opening bell. Lyra came out strong, hitting Becky with a series of quick strikes that sent the veteran reeling. The crowd was firmly behind Lyra, cheering her on as she showed no fear against one of WWE's most decorated champions. Becky, however, quickly shifted gears. Using her experience and cunning, she targeted Lyra's arm, systematically breaking her down. The two women traded near falls, with the crowd on the edge of their seats. Then came the turning point. Late in the match, Lyra hit a massive spinning kick that nearly knocked Becky out cold. She covered Becky. 1, 2. But Becky got her foot on the rope at the very last second. Frustrated but determined, Lyra climbed to the top rope, looking to put Becky away. But that's when it all went wrong. Becky shoved the referee into the ropes, causing Lyra to crash down hard. From there, Becky locked in to disarm her, wrenching Lyra's arm back in a way that made the crowd gasp. Lyra refused to tap. Her determination was incredible. But Becky didn't care. She held the hold for way too long, even after the referee called for the bell. And this is where everything spiraled out of control. Instead of releasing the hold, Becky doubled down. She wrenched Lyra's arm even further, screaming, "You don't belong here," over and over again. Referees poured into the ring, trying to break it up. Becky shoved one of them to the mat. Then, in a shocking display of aggression, she grabbed a steel chair from ringside. The crowd erupted in boos as Becky raised the chair high above her head. Lyra was helpless, clutching her injured arm. And then it happened. Becky brought the chair crashing down on Lyra's arm in one of the most brutal assaults we've seen in years. The arena fell silent for a moment. This wasn't the Becky Lynch the fans once cheered for. This was something darker, more dangerous. Just when it looked like Becky was about to deliver a second chair shot, suddenly, Bayley's music hit. The crowd exploded. Bayley sprinted down the ramp and slid into the ring, staring Becky down. For a moment, the two former allies just glared at each other, the tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. Becky smirked, almost daring Bayley to stop her. But Bayley wasn't there to talk. She ripped the chair out of Becky's hands and shoved her back. The crowd roared in approval. Becky and Bayley exchanged words, their faces inches apart. You could see the fury in Becky's eyes and the defiance in Bayley's. And then Becky did the unthinkable. She slapped Bayley across the face. The arena gasped. That was all it took. Bayley tackled Becky to the ground, and the two brawled in the middle of the ring as officials desperately tried to separate them. Meanwhile, medical staff rushed to Lyra, who was clutching her arm in agony. After several minutes of chaos, Becky was dragged away by security, screaming at Bayley the whole time. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. Bayley, breathing heavily, stood protectively over Lyra. She didn't say a word, but her actions spoke volumes. For the first time in months, the WWE Universe saw a different side of Bayley. One that wasn't about championships or rivalries, but about standing up for what was right. Lyra was eventually helped to the back, her arm in a sling. The damage had been done. But thanks to Bayley, it hadn't gotten worse. Backstage, the tension was off the charts. Becky Lynch was reportedly escorted out of the arena by WWE security. Triple H was said to be furious about the assault, and there are rumors that Becky may face heavy fines or even a suspension for her actions. Meanwhile, Bayley was seen checking on Lyra in the trainer's room. In a brief interview, Bayley simply said, "Someone had to stop her. If no one else was going to do it, I would." Those words immediately went viral. Fans praised Bayley for stepping up, while others wondered if this was the beginning of a major new feud between Bayley and Becky Lynch. The WWE locker room was buzzing. Some superstars openly applauded Bayley for confronting Becky. Bianca Belair even tweeted, "Bayley did the right thing. Enough is enough." Others, however, were cautious. They know Becky Lynch well enough to realize that she doesn't take humiliation lightly. If Bayley thought she'd seen the worst of Becky, she was dead wrong. Even Lyra Valkyria, despite her injury, managed to post on social media later that night. "Thank you, Bayley. I owe you one." This only added more fuel to the fire. So where does this go from here? It's clear that we're heading for a massive showdown between Becky Lynch and Bayley. The attack on Lyra was bad enough, but Bayley's interference made this personal. Becky is not the kind of superstar who forgives or forgets. On top of that, Lyra's injury could set up a redemption arc for her, possibly aligning with Bayley in a battle against Becky. Imagine the possibilities. Bayley and Lyra Valkyria teaming up to take down a ruthless, unhinged Becky Lynch. And if WWE really wants to blow the roof off, this feud could climax in a huge pay-per-view match. Maybe even a no-holds-barred match between Becky and Bayley, with Lyra involved in some way. The WWE Universe has been absolutely electric since this moment. One fan wrote, "Bayley versus Becky is going to be money. SummerSlam just lit a fuse. And if you thought SummerSlam was wild, just wait until the next chapter." So what do you think? Was Bayley right to interfere? Has Becky Lynch gone too far? And is Lyra Valkyria about to get her ultimate revenge? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because if this feud keeps escalating, you're not going to want to miss what happens next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.